Hi, Chris Custenbotter here, and I've been living in a great quality of life with Parkinson's for the past 14 years. Now, have you ever gone throughout the day and you notice your symptoms seem a little bit off? Maybe your tremors seem worse or you seem stiffer than normal? I know that I have, and the culprit could be something as simple as a glass of water. That's right, a glass of water. Now, hydration and drinking water, it can be a game changer for people with Parkinson's disease. So it's important that we stay hydrated so that we can continue to maintain our mobility and our daily function. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about why hydration is important in Parkinson's. What are some of the considerations for how much water do I need? And then we'll talk about some tips about how you can stay hydrated so that you feel good throughout the day. Sound good? All right, well, come join me. All right, so why do we need to drink a lot of water if we have Parkinson's? Well, number one, when we don't get enough water, we get and become dehydrated, it worsens our symptoms. So if say your tremors are worse, maybe your balance is off, your stability, and you may have some cognitive problems as well, because when we become dehydrated and don't get enough water, sometimes that's going to affect our memory and it's going to affect our thinking skills as well. So the main reason that we want to make sure that we get enough water is to keep our Parkinson's symptoms somewhat in control with our medication and our exercise program. And also, so it's going to help us with our cognitive skills as well. So they're the main reasons that why hydration is important in Parkinson's. Now let's look at some of the factors that affect how much water you need if you have Parkinson's. Well, the first one is climate. So if you live in a hot, humid climate, maybe in the southern US or somewhere else in where you have hot, humid temperatures, you're going to perspire or sweat a lot and you're going to lose a lot of water. So in those cases, you're going to need to make sure that you're taking in adequate amounts of water to replenish what you're losing. So it's important there that you drink when you don't even think you're thirsty, because a lot of times with Parkinson's, we don't realize that we're thirsty, and then next thing you know, become dehydrated. So if you live in a hot, humid climate, it's very important that you stay hydrated and constantly replacing the water that you're losing. The second one is your activity level. Now, if you're a person that likes to do a lot of exercise, whether it be walking, maybe you swim, you cycle, you take a group fitness class, whatever it happens to be, the more you exercise and the higher your activity level, the more you're going to sweat and the more water you're going to lose. So it's important while you're exercising to make sure that you're drinking water and taking little breaks to get so that you don't become dehydrated. Because if you become dehydrated, especially if you're taking an exercise class, you have the potential to fall, and falls can be devastating. So it's important that if you have a high activity level, that you make sure that you're drinking on a regular basis, and especially during and after workouts. Actually, before, during, and after workouts. The next one is medications. Some medications, like diuretics, will cause you to go to the bathroom and then you're losing water. And so you're going to make sure that if you're taking a diuretic, that you talk to your doctor about how much water you need so that you can make sure that you're replacing the appropriate amount of water to prevent you from becoming dehydrated. So medications is number 3. Number 4 is body size. Now, I've got a big body size, and so I'm going to need more water than somebody that's half my size. So the bigger your body size, the more water you're going to need in order to stay hydrated. So in my case, I try to drink at least once an hour, and I always carry with me a big insulated thermos of water, and I drink throughout the morning and out throughout the afternoon. And then I usually try to stop before bedtime so that I don't have to run to the restroom. But I highly recommend that one of the water bottles. And then finally is overall health. Now, if you have some health issues, you can become dehydrated very quickly. And if you become dehydrated, it can lead to a whole host of other issues. So if you have some health issues, make sure you talk to your doctor about how much water that you need to drink and how often you need to drink water throughout the day. So those are some of the factors that affect how much water you need. Now, how do we decide on tips that we can use to help us make sure that we're getting enough water during the day? Well, number 1 is to listen to your body. If you're thirsty, then drink, because you're already starting to become dehydrated when you feel that you're thirsty. Another reason that we want to make sure that we're drinking, especially if we have Parkinson's, at least every 2 hours, getting some water, is because a lot of times we don't realize that we're becoming dehydrated and not getting enough water, and then until it's too late and we have to drink that so much more to try to recover. So it's very important that you try to drink at least every 2 hours, even if you're not thirsty with Parkinson's. And then another tip is to ask your doctor for a hydration plan. Next time you go to the doctor, say, how much water should I be drinking and how often throughout the day? And they'll, based on your treatment plan, they'll give you some great guidance on when to drink and how often. Number 3 is track your intake. So you can just keep a little log or just write down how often you drink and how much you drink. So maybe in the morning you have 42 ounces and then maybe you have 64 in the afternoon. So that way I'm getting close to a gallon of water. So a day, and that might be too much, but just as an example. So the amount of water that you need to stay hydrated and prevent dehydration. Another is to set reminders. If you have to drink every 2 hours, set a reminder on your watch or your phone that's gonna beep or vibrate to tell you, hey, it's time to drink some water. And that way it's making sure that you're staying hydrated throughout the day, because there's some devastating consequences with dehydration, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. And then another thing you can do is make it delicious. I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't like just plain water. Well, there's a lot of options out there that you can put fruit in your water. Some people like to put orange or limes or even cucumber in their water, melon to give it additional flavor. You can also buy the sugar-free, there's a lot of sugar-free liquid drink mixes out there that you can squirt into your water to flavor your water. And then you can also use fruits and vegetables that are high in water. So for instance, your melons, especially watermelons, very high in water, and also oranges and grapefruits have a lot of water as well. As well as cucumbers have a lot of water, and celery is another good option for making sure that you get enough water. So you can get water that way. And then you can also get variety as well by, if you like teas. There's a lot of different teas out there, flavored teas that you can use, whether you drink it hot or whether you drink it iced. They're great options. And then finally, you can watch beverages out there, anything with caffeine and alcohol. So alcohol and caffeine can lead to dehydration because they're going to make you go to the bathroom, and then if you're not replacing that water, you can become dehydrated very quickly. And again, the reason that hydration is so important is it's really going to have an impact on our Parkinson's symptoms, especially our motor symptoms. So it's going to affect your tremors, your balance, and even your rigidity and stiffness. If you don't have enough water, if you're not getting enough water and you become dehydrated, your joints and your muscles are going to become stiff. So if you're not getting enough water, it's going to impact your movement, and it's also going to increase your symptoms, as well as things like constipation. Constipation is a big issue for people with Parkinson's, and by making sure you get enough water, you can help to alleviate some of that, along with eating a high fiber diet. So those are some of the reasons and tips for making sure that you stay hydrated with Parkinson's. So please make sure that you either get yourself a water bottle or some other type of system to make sure that you're staying properly hydrated, because we want to see you stay active in your community, and we want to make sure that it's going to help you with your cognitive skills as well, because if we prevent dehydration, it's going to help prevent a lot of the other issues, and especially devastating issues, falls and things like that, that can often come with dehydration. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. And if you have people that you know that could benefit from this video, please share it with them, because the objective of this channel is to help as many people as possible live a great quality of life with Parkinson's. And if you subscribe, you become part of the community and leave your comments, and hopefully we can all learn from each other and share with each other our success stories. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.